Hello, today I am making something a little different and more serious. No intro skit this time, sorry. Recently on r/AskReddit, I came across a discussion about what country people would never visit again, and a great majority of stories were in Africa, specifically here, Egypt. Now, to give you a short answer, no, you shouldn't visit this place. I've lived here all my life, and I will tell you confidently, it sucks. But don't take my word for it. I will go through some stories from the thread and discuss them. There is just so much wrong with this place, but I will only go through actual experience actual tourists have had here, and I can confirm it all happens. It all is real. I can also list a ton of things that are wrong here, but are only a problem to Egyptians. You as a tourist don't run into these things, so I'm not going to say it, and the video will be an hour plus anyway. Now, I think the problem with Egypt and why it was such a bad experience for so many people is not because it's the worst place out there. It really is not. But I think the problem lies in expectations. Egypt is always painted so well and is overhyped. And when people come to see that it's not true, they get very disappointed, rightfully so. Now let's get on with it. First, let's just say that being here as a foreigner makes you a target, especially if you don't have a local with you to guide you. People will eye you down wherever you go. People will harass you verbally and even physically if you're a woman. Someone will always be trying to scam you or sell you something. The whole image they sell about Egypt itself is a scam. The reality is not nearly as pretty, and people will mistreat you. There is something here we Egyptians refer to as the foreigner complex. People look at you, the foreigner, the foreign visitor, as you are below them, but they are still envious of you because you live somewhere better and have money to spare to be traveling and visiting other countries. Add on top of all that the culture shock. Egypt looks and feels nothing like any place you might have been or come from in the West. Not in a good way. The first comment that caught my eye was this one because it says it was in 2003, before things got bad here. Or I guess I should say worse. It says, I was in 2003, I maybe was 24-ish on a tour with both of my parents. I have never been in my life groped, felt up, and sexually assaulted as much as I have been over there. In crowds, at museums, at the hotel. Random guys, stray hand on my ass as they pass or rub up against my breast. Now, this does happen all the time, it's true. It's almost normalized at this point. Guys here have this entitlement towards women, and if they don't get the chance to touch you or catcall you, they will definitely stare at you and make you uncomfortable. It goes on to say, even taking a camel ride, the older sleazy operator lifted me down without my consent and forced my body to do a slow slide against his groin. I have seen this happen myself on a trip in high school to a local underage student. A lot of the older guys working simple jobs like this are probably predatory, and their age acts as a cover, so the victim brushes it off as unintentional or just avoids making a scene, but it is probably intended. My advice would be to avoid horse carriages and camel rides like this entirely. They are dangerous people and out of control, as you can see. It was disgusting, really sad to hear it has gotten worse, and that it did. Someone replied to this comment, confirming what I said about staring. Yep, I got stared at a lot for having blonde hair when I was 13. A man even tried to offer my dad money for me. This happens as well. Staring is a Middle Eastern habit, but some people do push it very far. Unfortunately, being young will not save you. In my opinion, this mentality of buying out women from their parents stems out from arranged marriage, which is very common here. Here in the culture, which I think is wrong, don't think I'm defending it or anything. As long as the father knows what is happening or going to happen, it's acceptable. While there is an age of consent set by the law, the societal norms don't have anything like that. Another comment here says, Egypt. I visited Sharm el-Sheikh back in 2015. For those who don't know, Sharm el-Sheikh is a coastal city by the Red Sea, and is a very popular attraction for recreational tourism. The hotel area was amazing. I vaguely remember it being cold, and you felt like a king there, but that was it. As soon as you leave the hotel area, you feel like you're in a war zone. Trash everywhere, barely laid roads, nothing to go look at outside of the hotel, apart from stuff they sold you as a day trip, snorkeling, camel rides, going out in the desert with a quad bike. Now, this is a valid point. It is a poor country after all, and it definitely shows. Once you're away from the sheltered environment they place visitors in, you see that. Also, however, Sharm el-Sheikh and other similar cities are not residential areas. They are only built recently and for this purpose of tourism only, so you shouldn't expect much to see besides touristic things. Also, note that a lot of tourists here pick on from these cities is that almost all the workers in the hotel are men. That's because all the people there, or a great majority of them, are from other parts of the country. It's not about exclusion of women from the staff. It did not feel right to be there. Every time I went to buy water in a shop, the price would go up each day. They would tell you a price 2 or 3 times the price you paid the day before, and you'd need to haggle them down. I ended up saying that I pay a certain amount and not more. When they said no, I'd leave the shop and they'd come chasing after me saying, okay, we can do X euros. It was stressful to be there. I just want to say that this type of hassling is not exclusive to tourists. It's just guaranteed for them. As Egyptians, we also have to deal with bullshit from vendors like this. If I wanted to enjoy myself, I'd stick to my hotel room, the pool, or the beach, and ignore the people trying to sell me stuff on the beach. Now, this is sound advice. I would do the same, and I'm not even a stranger to this country. The next one says, Cairo looks like is a war zone. Turrets on street corners, tanks, soldiers with automatic weapons everywhere. We had an armed police officer on the tour bus, a police escort everywhere, bomb dogs, and a guy with a mirror looking under the bus for bombs. Now, this is true, but there are a few things that need to be clarified. The presence of military or police people anywhere outside of Egypt means trouble is happening and they are there to handle it, but not here. Here, this presence of military and police and security checkups and all that is more of a show of power to show that things are under control and they're overseeing it. This is to give a sense of security in the Egyptian mindset. That's the intention behind it. It's not because something is actually wrong. It's not a cause for concern. No police officer or soldier is allowed to use their arms without higher up command, with the exception of sensitive areas like the border with Sinai or other borders, because these areas are actually full of trouble. Oh, and these turrets are not what you might think. They're just a shield with a gunman behind him. We don't have automated turrets like in games or movies or anything, so don't think anything like that. Cairo is dirty, littered, and the poverty is staggering. Many parts of Cairo are slums, and even the normal parts still suck. Cairo is way overcrowded, and naturally, crowded life invokes the worst in people. If you do a quick search for Cairo's population, it turns up Cairo itself has a population density of 19,376 people per square kilometer, or 50,180 per square mile, which ranks the 37th in the world. So yeah, you can figure it will suck there. The food was meh at best, as we could not travel outside the hotel or tour path to eat. If the food provided to you by the company is acceptable, stick with it, because it's going to be higher quality than whatever you can find outside that we normally eat. It is a third world country, after all. Food quality here is very low, so don't compare it to what you're used to in your home country. It was blisteringly hot. It's a desert, dude, come on. But also, to be fair, trees have been getting cut down massively from cities, and that makes it even worse than it has to be. The camel guys at the pyramids were mean to all of the women and all the animals, with children working there as well. Again, women are targeted, but a common thing here is animal cruelty. So much that stray dogs and cats now will frantically avoid humans, even if you offer them food or friendly gestures. The only exceptions to this are animals at tourist sites, like temples, because they interact with tourists who are nice to them and feed them. Stray cats at temples are all healthy and friendly and are almost an attraction of their own, for example in Fila Island in Aswan. As for child labor, that is also normal here. And besides that, homeless children roam around the streets harassing people, causing trouble, or begging and doing cheap work like wiping cars at traffic stops for change. It's tragic. The Egyptian Museum was a disgrace to the country. poorly organized, bad labels, no security, priceless textiles, parchments, leather, etc. Jumbled in cases, exposed to air, heat, hands, no air conditioning. The only things well cared for and secure were Tutankhamun's artifacts. It's a spectacular resource and collection, so badly cared for with no curation. The new one just opened, I sure hope it's better. Egyptians just suck at organizing and maintaining things, let's all agree on that. I haven't been to the new one yet, and probably won't, but I can assume it will only be good for a while and then deteriorate like everything else does here. It starts strong and then goes down from there. Once you've seen one temple, one hieroglyphic, you've truly seen them all. Now, hold on, this part is not true. Every historical site is unique and has its own fascinating story behind it, but the tour guides, they do a sloppy ass job at explaining this and give that false impression of repetition and dullness. Again, it's just us mishandling our heritage, but the sites and items themselves are not guilty of this. It's all about tourist money. This line here exactly is why it looks the way it does. People don't care about showing visitors the cool heritage they have. They just want easy money. So they will do bare minimum effort to show it to you. Next one says, the way they treat women and their own people is honestly heartbreaking and disgusting. I have never wanted to be out of a country so fast in my life. Same man. A friend of mine was groped on the bus and a fellow student told her that's what you get for not riding the all-female bus. Now, this is an important part. On so many cases of sexual harassment or even rape, the attacker will blame the victim's behavior, appearance, or outfit, or all of it, for what he did. And these claims even get support from people who are not involved in the case. We weren't always this way. This negative change in behavior and mentality is recent and came with the extremists' influence. There is this idea in people's minds that if a woman doesn't take every single possible precaution to avoid it, she deserves it or even secretly wants it. And I cannot stress enough how disgusting and just fucked up that is, but it's how it is. I never felt safe, and I constantly felt sorry for almost everything I saw. The poor, the animals, the women. It was honestly devastating. I don't live in Cairo, but the times I have been there, I share this feeling personally, and I am from here, and I speak the language, and I am a man. I'm not trying to be sexist, but as a man, you don't have to deal with all the sexual bullshit women face, and that is a big deal. And I still hate it, so I can totally sympathize with this sentiment. I am a female that was traveling with my good friend who was a local from Maadi. I wore pants and conservative clothing to respect the culture. We even had a driver and male Egyptian friends escorting us and still had issues. They told us to never be without an escort, ever. How you dress and how you behave is completely irrelevant. You could wear a burqa for all they care, and you will still get harassed in every way possible. And this is also sound advice. Never wander off alone, especially not in Cairo or other big cities. It's just not safe. And if you do choose to travel to Egypt alone, as a woman, ask the company you are working with or the tour company you're for a female escort. Alexandria and Dahab, both are coastal cities for those who don't know, are beautiful, but the experience as a woman doesn't change drastically from Cairo because they are still in Egypt, and they are both major cities. Won't differ much. The country is rich in history and has some great diving, which makes it a damn shame that it sucks to visit so much. But the behavior from many males and the infrastructure is fucked. True, infrastructure here is terrible and it's even getting worse. Still, Alexandria, for example, gets flooded every winter from the rain, and it has been for quite a few years now, and still happens. No one did anything about it. People literally move around streets in rafts or stuff like that. That is how high the water gets. You can't walk through it. Another comment says, was visiting the pyramids, and this girl in front of me almost got raped. Just a bunch of men surrounded her once our guys were at a minimal distance away. Ended up fighting them off with the help of other several tourists. She was with a friend, also a woman, and I ended up spending my whole time with them for the next 4 days. Really enjoyed my time with them, but holy shit, going out in public was just me doing bodyguard work, which I was not comfortable with, but what choice did I have? This person is a hero. I applaud you. And the rape harassment stories, they just never end. It keeps happening and probably will keep happening, unfortunately. The people themselves need to change, and that's not going to happen anytime soon. Next comment, I've traveled to over 15 countries, and Egypt was the first that comes to mind when I saw the title. A nice man sitting next to me on a bus to Cairo had the shit kicked out of him by police at the Suez Canal checkpoint. They literally were punching him in the face as hard as they could while he was in the chair next to me, begging them to stop until they dragged him off, never to be seen again probably. Now, police brutality is not news here. I'm assuming the victim was a local because they wouldn't do this so publicly to a foreigner. Citizens have no right or law to protect them from their own government, but this behavior is accepted locally if he is a troublemaker. Him getting beaten like that is accepted here if he's a bad person. The comment goes on to compare Egypt to Morocco, which is irrelevant, but I want to say that Morocco is not so safe either. They have a history of foreign women getting killed there. I'm not defending Egypt or bashing Morocco. I am just giving light to a fact so people who are concerned can take their precautions as needed. The pyramids area was absolutely disgusting. So many people there to fuck you, mistreated camels, little children crawling through garbage piles. If you are a woman or have a woman in your group, then holy fuck, it's even worse. It's impossible to stay out past sunset as the danger and sketch levels go to 100. And I'm not just being sensitive. People assault and harass women. They'll berate you, etc. I was so lucky I looked Egyptian according to them while I was there, and it still didn't help much. Fuck Egypt, man. Yes. My good friend is Egyptian. Amazing history, some great people for sure, but fuck that place, and he agrees 100%, especially since he's a Coptic Christian. Now, I obviously agree, and yes, you would hate it even more here if you are a minority like a Christian, or even worse, an atheist. My advice is just don't visit the pyramids. The majority of us Egyptians never go, and it's not that far for us, so don't waste your precious time on it. But if you really want to see and visit pyramids, don't go to the popular ones in Giza. Saqqara's step pyramid is the oldest in the world, and Dahshur also has pyramids. You can see both and even enter them, and the places there are way better and safer than Giza. A comment here that caught my attention says, can we take a moment of silence for all the people who actually live in these places? And I appreciate the thought. But there's a shocking truth you might want to hear. A lot of people who manage to immigrate from here end up coming back here willingly. They just can't adapt to civilized society and proper freedom, so they either try to turn it wherever they went like it was here, or they just come back, which is unfair for these people to get these opportunities, while people like me who don't belong here and will adapt just fine never get such opportunities. But life isn't fair, is it? A woman who responded to many of the sexual harassment stories or assault says, I've never come across so many depraved, sex-crazed creeps in my life. Like something you could never imagine until you visit. My god, they were predatory. Not just random guys either. The men in hotel staff, restaurant servers, cab drivers. The reason I picked this one specifically to talk about is because it has the root of the problem in it. People are indeed sex-crazed. And society has come to taboo the shit out of sex and even decent physical contact between opposite genders, like a hug or a handhold. None of that. Even among family, for some people it's not okay to touch like that. And this created this sex craziness. This deprivation that people put themselves into is what makes them animals like that. It's fucked up, and I'm not defending it. I just wanted to point out the cause of it so you can understand it better. Another cause for this is because they have a false image of Western culture that contact and casual relationships like that is okay, and when they face the fact that it's obviously not, it's taken as a personal problem that whoever this person is was not interesting enough. To change up from the sexual harassment stories, here's one about scams. I don't know if it's just me being American, but it was definitely a I only like you because I'm making money off of you vibe, which is sort of common in touristy areas, but it's crazy how angry they get at you when you don't use their services. Because, as I mentioned at the start, they despise you. You are below them in their eyes, but they want your money, so they will suck up to you. And if you don't give them what they want, they will show their true feelings towards you, which is why I teach Egyptian slang and swears. So you can tell when someone is cursing you out. Even if they're smiling, it happens a lot. Guides and operators and stuff like that will talk shit about you to your face in Arabic, and you wouldn't know it. And they will be smiling, you can have no way to tell. Tipping was atrocious also. I'm used to tipping, but people here would just come up to me and give me unsolicited advice and ask for a tip. Sometimes it was cool, like a guard let me hold his AK, but other times it was just some dude that'll come up and start talking to you while you were looking at a statue and then demand a tip. And this happens all the time because the guards at sites and staff here in general are underpaid and are straight up told to make the rest of their needs off the visitors. But there is worse. Like this comment says, got driven to some dodgy alabaster store by a tour guide. This part of the tour wasn't mentioned, and made to spend several $100s on shit I didn't want just to be able to leave. Now this is because the guides make most of their money off of tips, and their actual salary, which is already low, is not given in full. So a workaround they came to find is this: drag clients on a detour to a place like that, and then they get a cut from the sales from the shop owner for getting traffic to his place. But if you don't want to, you are not forced to buy, especially if you're in the safety of a group. He can't do anything to you. And if the guide pushes it, till then you will file a report against them to the tourism police. They will back down. Don't let people push you around. The last story here is a little shocking, so this is a trigger warning. I went with my family as an 18-year-old and was warned by a stone-faced male receptionist, do not leave the resort without your father. It would not be good for you. Which is good advice, by the way. Well, okay, it turns out even within the resort it wasn't great. I had hotel staff take pictures of me by the pool, saying sexually suggestive things about me in front of my parents, asking me out on dates to bars outside the hotel. My mom and I went to a touristy shop across the road from the hotel, and one of the men grabbed me by the waist and thrust his crotch into me. I have never seen my mom fight someone off before. I have no words to say about this. I just hope this person is okay and has recovered from this. To summarize, we are not the land of the pharaohs anymore. We have become a disgrace to them. They, not we. I don't want to be a part of this society, and I'm not. I just happen to be here. Do not believe the perfect image they sell. It's all false, and so much of the true experience will obviously never be mentioned in any tourist program or anywhere you can find. But this is the truth of Egypt. God, this was depressing to make. I'll just go lie down now. I hope this was eye-opening or useful to you in some ways. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time with my regular content. See ya.